Go. All right. Hello, everyone. This is a brand new podcast. My fourth one that I've ever made. This is really tiresome. But hey, this is one that's a long time coming. I've been wanting to do this. Um, I am Mark Johnson, aka MarKreations Studios. I love Transformers very much. I grew up with Transformers, and Um, yeah, I would love to start. I wanted to start a podcast where we have on guests and people from the industry of mainly the movies, but also the cartoons and games, um, like actors and things like that. But for episode 1, I just wanted to invite my friends and my co-host. Um, And yeah, these are my co-hosts. We're gonna introduce them right now. So, Theory Miss, tell us about yourself.
Sure. Hi. So I'm Theramus, also known as Jason, which you guys all know, and some folks on the interwebs as well. And I guess my story kind of works with a lot of 2000s kids growing up with Transformers. Kids seeing the movies, being blown away by the CGI and the characters. And I kind of got into that, collected the figures, and then for the longest time on YouTube, not too many people were talking about the movies, or a lot of them were mainly complaining about plot holes and stuff. And I'm like, well, in my head, I think, okay, well, this is why. But there was no one who really gave an outlet to explain that. So back in 2017, I made a channel, and then it kind of ballooned into something pretty big, and been doing it ever since.
That is so cool. And then D to the V, what is your abridged
Hello, my name's Devin, also a D to the B. I'm a Transformers YouTuber. I've been a fan of the Transformers since 2007 came out, where my mom, a G1 fan, took me and my brother to go see the first Michael Bay movie for the very first time.
Mhm.
We saw that thing like twice in the theaters. It's the only Bay film where we saw it twice on the big screen. And that's really about it.
That's great. All right, what about you, Mr. Prince Pro?
Yeah, so same thing as Theramis as a kid. First introductions to the live action movies. I still remember it like it was yesterday when I was in my room and I saw a 2007 Blu-ray on my table. And as a kid, I was like, oh, this was cool. I'll watch it. Little did I know that single movie would have changed my life forever. And I'm still a Transformers fan to this day. It is my favorite franchise of all time. And I guess thanks to COVID-19, it made me make a channel because I was bored at home all day. So,
Hmm,
and I love doing stop
nice.
motion. Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
so
and I do stop motion on my channel, so I forgot to say that as
oh,
well.
cool. I also do stop motions, and I believe T to the V does sometimes as well.
We know you do.
Yeah,
This is your
my
channel.
second channel, D to the B Studios. I want to animate stuff there again. I kind of miss doing it.
Hell yeah. All right, boys. Well, now that we're all introduced, the floor is yours. What do you guys want to talk about for the next half hour to hour?
So,
Uh,
well, I think maybe a good idea is to let everyone know what our goal of this is going to be.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a
very much.
great idea. Well, my goal is I would love to get some really good interviews done. I'm in contact with a lot of actors and a lot of people in the industry. Um, I've had plenty of people tell me that I have more connections than I deserve, and
He really
like
does.
He knows a lot of people.
I know so many people, and it's insane. So I may as well put that to good use and introduce some of these people. Um, I remember, I remember about 2 or 3 years ago, I had Stephen Barr on as the voice of Nitro Zeus in my series,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
and then I was telling Theorymus about this in private, and he was so shocked to hear that there was this whole story of why he's in only one version of Transformers Last Night and not any other version. And long story short, he had no idea that he was shafted. He had no idea. And I just thought, you know what, that would be a really cool story to hear in a YouTube format where people can reference it and for TF Wiki and things like that for Transformers historians everywhere.
Archiving, baby.
Hell yeah, archiving.
Yeah, archive.
Archive. Yes. So, long story short, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be interviewing actors. We'll be having YouTubers on as well. We're going to be just all across the board Transformers. We're not going to be focused on just the movies. However, I do want to start off with the movies because they're near and dear to my heart. Um, I'm probably usually I don't have this many co-hosts, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably cycle them out whenever there's a different show that we're gonna be addressing, or a different part of the fandom like the comics or something like that. Theory Miss over here is a big Bayformers expert
Yes, sir.
and yet he's not so much with the cartoons, and that is completely fine.
What it is, man.
And that's completely fine. That's to each their own. I would love to have someone like I don't know if Ronimus would be willing to, but I would love to ask Ronimus Primal to be on an episode for like
Oh,
G1
I would be
interview.
open to it. I've
Yeah.
met the guy. He's pretty nice.
He's
I
nice.
talked to him one time way back in the day. It's funny you bring him up because there was the voice. Remember when Cybertron Siege was out, and one of the voice actors was for Mirage, and his name was
Yeah.
Sean Hawkins, and he actually had his own little Transformers show that did on YouTube for a short time. And one of the kind of grand things was bring on YouTubers, and that's how I actually met Rodimus Primal doing kind of like a head-to-head Transformers trivia. I think that was the name of the channel back in the day. So he seems like a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, he is awesome. Yeah.
I met him at TFCon, the first one I met.
Nice. Cool. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna have different hosts on, but these faces are gonna be very familiar to you guys by the end of this chapter. We're gonna have a
Right.
lot of movie related episodes. We're gonna be talking to, like I said, actors, directors, who knows. Okay, so what about you, Theory Miss? What are your goals for this podcast?
Sure. So I know you reached out to me over TFW 2005, and you kind of pitched a project to me and told me to, the whole story about Stephen Barr, which I didn't even know. And one of my goals was archiving everything about the Bayverse. That's what I started my channel to do back as well, to cover all the little fun facts and very esoteric things that a lot of fans didn't know.
Yeah.
And so, when you told me that story, I'm like, oh my God, that's nuts, because, he also voiced Topspin, and you never know how these actors actually get the roles. And it's actually a pretty cool story, because for a short time I had a podcast where I interviewed Andre Soyutso, the voice of Sideswipe in Revenge of the Fallen. He had so much to say. And I'm thinking, well, this is a great opportunity where we have all of us and we can expand that coverage to get all aspects of the Transformers fandom that we can help archive for fans like all across the globe.
Yeah, for sure. I cannot wait to have. I would love to have Andrea on this show as well. Who knows? Maybe we can get James Horan on and him, and we could have a sideswipe face-off.
That'd be fun.
That'd be
Cool.
funny. Yeah. D to the B. What are your plans or goals for this podcast?
Just learn and get facts out there about the Bayverse and other continuities out there. Make people appreciate the advanced Transformers multiverse that has been building up for the past, it's like 41 or 42 years, right?
Something like that.
It's a crazy number like that, yeah. What about you, Prince? What are your thoughts?
Hmm. Mainly just have fun with the rest of you and meet more Transformers voice actors. I am pretty simple on that fact.
Yeah,
All right.
Hell yeah, brother.
fair
Oh
enough.
yeah. Very simple and yet straight to the point. That's fun. I love that. All right. So the first thing that I wanted to do is a bit of an icebreaker.
Okay.
Is I would like to do a bit of a tier list with you boys. I would
All right.
love to
Okay.
do
I'm
this.
open to it.
So I just made this. Um, I just made this morning. Let me add it to the screen for everyone.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know you could do that on here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a cool feature.
So we got S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. Um, and we got all 10 movies that have ever been released. I'm not including any of the Japanese Beast Wars OVAs or whatever.
That's fine. Watch
That
them.
those are I don't think any of us here have seen those. Um, but it's okay to each their own. If there's anyone out there that wants to rank those, let us know how you rank them down in the comments. Um, but yeah, okay, icebreaker time. First and foremost, who here wants to go first on their thoughts on the G1 movie? I guess I will. Okay, so I think the G1 movie is a B tier movie. I think it's fine as it is, but I also, I don't love it. What about you, Prince? What do you think about the G1 movie? What would
Hmm.
you?
Well, I will be a little bit generous and say at least a C tier, because aside from the whole overabundance we've been getting of G1 recently, this
Yeah,
movie, this movie is honestly glazed far too much. It's not that good. Like, is it a horrible movie? No. But is it like the best thing in the world? Hell no. It, I will admit, the beginning sequence is great, but after Prime dies, it's honestly just a boring movie, and it's just like it's kind of hard to really focus on it because there's like on it, I don't know, it just seems a bit boring after that fact, and I hate Rodimus Prime, but that's a personal thing. But yeah, like it just doesn't seem that interesting afterwards, and it gets glazed to hell because everyone's like, "Oh, it's an amazing movie." I'm just like, it's not that great. It's better than the last night. I'll give you that, but then again, anything is better than the last night.
yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
For
like
for sure.
I'll
it's
I'll say
that hard
C
of a bar.
tier. I'll
Uh,
say C tier primarily because
Oh, yeah.
the beginning sequence carries it, and the music is a banger. The music is a banger in the movie.
Hell
The
yeah.
music's really good.
What about you, Theremus?
It's a good question, right? Because I think I actually watched this movie in full years ago on YouTube when they still had a copy up, and they're now taking all the copies down because they're re-releasing it for the 40th anniversary. That's kind of interesting because I never really watched G1 as a kid. I knew of it and I saw people talk about it, so this was kind of really the main full thing of G1 I've ever seen. For me, I thought it was all right. Of course, if I grew up with G1, you'd be more attached to the characters. And I think the opening of this movie is fantastic. The attack on Autobot City, Optimus versus Megatron, it's great. So I really like the beginning part, like Prince said. I think the middle is like, for me, it's a little slow because you get introduced to a whole new cast, and Rodimus was okay, but I really like the ending of the movie too, where he gets the Matrix and he stops Galvatron and they kill Unicron at the end. So I'd say B tier too. It's I wouldn't say it's my personal favorite, but in terms of the quality of the story and what it represents for the Transformers brand, it's subjective to everyone. But for me, I'd say B tier or C tier.
Okay, and what about you, D2V?
Unlike you all. No, I'm just kidding. I do really enjoy this movie. I like the movie for the most part. Is it flawed? Yes, I'm willing to admit that. But let's be honest. All these movies are flawed.
That's true.
All
Mhm.
10 of them.
Oh yes.
I personally like the movie for the most part. Maybe I'll agree with you on the middle act. The middle act is probably like the weakest part of the movie.
Yeah.
But I personally like the beginning. I like the end of it. I personally like Hot Rod's journey to Rodimus. I personally like that journey. I'm a Hot Rod defender. I think most of the narratives they pushed on Hot Rod are complete BS. And
Okay.
I think Rodimus, in the movie at least, is not bad of a prime. I mean, better than certain other primes. I mean,
We'll get to
I
that.
wonder.
well, people will know who I'm talking.
Very interesting.
No one specific, I swear.
Oh man,
Oh,
if
Lord.
only we could get Daniel Warren Johnson on here. I would love to ask him his thoughts on the recent issues. Oh god.
Oh, what about
Anyway,
Robert Kirkman, the person who made the issues? I got a word to say about him.
Oh,
okay.
that would be a
That would
fun
be fun.
episode. I don't think he would do it though. That's just
I
me.
don't think he would, but I would love to get him on. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm gonna leave it at B tier.
Yeah, I'll
Um.
compromise with B tier.
All right. So the 2007 movie. I am going to override all of you guys, and I'm gonna put it.
That's the correct spot it needs to be.
Yeah, that's the only spot it needs to be.
Yes. So in all seriousness, I'm going to let each of you say why. I think it goes there, not just because of nostalgia, but it's one of the only good. It's one of the only good movies that are like objectively constructed in a very good way. I think. And also it just has a lot of really sweet, hopeful, wholesome moments that the modern Transformer movies don't really have.
Yeah. Can't wait to get to those ones.
Oh boy. Yes.
I have thoughts.
Yes. Thoughts.
Yeah,
Aramis, what are your thoughts on 2007?
Oh, gee, 2007. It's funny, right? Because I've been dissecting this movie and studying production history of this thing for years, but I actually don't remember actually seeing it in the theater. My parents said I did, and I was like wide-eyed, and I was glued to it, which makes sense because I remember having a DVD and I would watch it over and over again. But this movie's incredible because it started my love for the franchise. And
Yeah.
while I might not know much of that, how that did, I wish I could go back in time and so I react. I physically don't have those memories anymore, but if this movie was never made, my life would not be as happy as it is because collecting the figures, discussing on
Yeah.
forums. But if we're going to talk about strictly on how the movie is itself, it's a masterclass of, in my opinion, not everyone will agree with this, of reinventing a franchise.
Yeah.
It took a lot of concepts and reworked them because I know it wasn't. People were like expecting something like it was going to be a direct translation from G1 back in the day, which it was completely its own thing. And I think that actually worked in its favor because what Bay set out to do was to look at the franchise, see how can we modernize this for people who have no idea what Transformers is or have a vague knowledge. And that whole story with a boy in his car and he gets sucked into a global conflict. It's great. And CGI holds up, the cars, they custom built, the actual practical effects. I mean, all the effects in this movie that you see were done as practically as they could. I mean, they literally had Shia hanging off one of those rooftops with a statue of cables. So, I mean, they went all out for this, but I won't take up any more time because I'll just keep on gushing about it.
It's all right, man. We don't have a time limit. I mean, we do, but we don't really have a time limit on the stream, so don't worry. Take as long as you want.
The stream.
Yeah. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of shit talking in the stream already, so we need all the gushing we can get while we can. Real quick before Prince and DB talk, I did want to say one thing about my relationship with this movie that I forgot to say. So when I was a kid, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've had a lot of facial surgeries. But like when I was a kid, I had been born with only one ear, and what happened was they had a guy from California build me an ear, and it took over 2 years to do. It was 3 separate surgeries, and it was a massive project. And it happened to take place like half a year after the movie had released in theaters. And I remember my dad took me to see it in theaters. I remember I loved it, and I remember that this movie I got on DVD, and when I was in the hospital after each surgery, I would wake up with a toy next to me every morning. One of my parents would just buy me a Transformer, whether it be 2007 RC or Recon Barricade or whatever. It was all these different toys that I would get, and I would just sit there the whole day and watch the 2007 movie over and over again, and I would laugh my ass off so hard that I would start to cry because it would hurt my head, and because I had surgery. And so what happened was my parents would be like, "Okay, we're turning this off. It's hurting you," and I would cry even harder. So it was a big deal for me back then. It was that movie and the SpongeBob movie. It was those 2 movies that I would watch.
Yeah.
David
Yeah.
Hasselhoff. I love that part.
Yeah.
What about you, Prince?
Oh, all right, my turn. All right, so just like Theramis said, this movie basically sparked my love for the franchise. Again, that story I said, when I watched it on the table and I watched it for the first time, my life changed for the better. Seeing robotic aliens transform into multiple different things, all the sound effects, all the fight scenes, everything in front of me is amazing. And not only that, but the reason why one of the main reasons why this deserves to be an S tier, not only because of nostalgia and not only because it brought us into the fan base, but because this movie single-handedly saved the franchise.
It did.
Because the franchise was kind of in a deep state but before this movie came out. So this movie pretty much revived it with all of us and so much more. And with that alone, and again, it's peak. It has the best opening scene in the Transformers movies,
Oh, yeah.
except the Cybertron scene from B movie, but the best opening scene in the movie.
Debatable. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
but some amazing fight scenes and shit. Amazing casting, amazing CGI. God, the CGI is one of the best CGI movies
yeah.
ever. Oh my
It
Lord.
Still holds up.
beautiful to this
Oh,
day.
yeah.
And
It-
yeah,
I didn't even argue. It only got worse from there. Like,
Yeah.
Race of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon were still great, but it's CGI wise. But the first movie, they really paid attention to the details.
but yeah, like it's just a peak movie. It's a peak movie, and yeah, that's really all I can say. It's funny. Is like everything. It's everything. It's peak fiction. All right, I finished.
All right, what about you, Devin?
2007, as I said, is what got me into Transformers. Back in the day when my mother wanted me and my brother to be Transformers fans, she went and took us both to go see 2007. And it was phenomenal. I still have vivid memories of seeing the film in theaters for the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in the theater where when blackouts would show up in the movie. I still have those vivid memories.
Yeah.
Collected a bunch of Transformers figures. It was such a fun time with it.
Yeah.
Now, Prince did bring up an interesting point. This movie did save this franchise. Transformers was not in a great state before 2007 had
It
come
was
out.
it was literally being carried on Japan's back for the last 5 years at that point.
Literally, the future of the franchise was holding on 2007, hoping to drag it back to relevance because it went. Here's the cycle. I'm going to run it down for you. We had G1 for the longest time. Then they tried G2. That failed. Like, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Then Beast Wars came along. Rejuvenated the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Then Beast Machines happened. Kind of destroyed the franchise again. Even though I don't hate Beast Machines.
Ew.
And then after Beast Machines, it was just a bunch of reboots at the time. Well, actually, specifically two. Robots in Disguise 2001, which was just a dub that was apparently supposed to be a part of the G1 continuity. Apparently. And then the Unicron trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really about it. Maybe some comics here and there. I don't know. I wasn't around during that time point.
Yeah.
Then 2007 basically took the creative liberties to save the franchise. Now, Theorymus did bring up a good point. Originally, it was supposed to be exactly like G1. They wanted to try to do the whole G1 thing in live action, but he said it didn't look good in live action. And from those early concept arts, I can't blame him.
Yeah.
A lot of them did not look good. Like Starscream.
No, I know what the art you're talking about. It's the one with
And
those
not
weird
not to
wings.
interrupt DB, but to add on to his claim, a lot of people like this after the B movie came along. A lot of people like to go back and say, "Oh, I thought you said G1 designs were hard to do." Well, of course, now we can do it, but it's not. Like,
That is a good point, Prince, actually.
yeah, like of course now with more technology and stuff, we can actually do the designs. But back then we couldn't because that was the first time. So yes,
I mean, I'll get into those designs once we get there.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
add it in.
I have thoughts. But
Sure you do.
good movie. I think how they executed the movie was great, being original. Also starting off with the humans, because a common complaint for the Bayverse films is like it focuses on the humans too much. The first movie, in my opinion, it works extremely well.
Yeah.
Introduce us to what we're familiar with, and then introduce the sci-fi aspect to it. I think it was the best play, because if we just went straight to Transformers, let's be honest, most audiences would be like, "Wait, what? What's going on here?"
Yeah, for sure. All right. So, Revenge of the Fallen. This is the first controversial one. I have thoughts. Most of them are mid thoughts. It's not a terrible movie. I like it fine enough, I guess. I think it's probably the weakest of. Oh, who am I saying? It is the weakest of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
But it is a gem. It's got hidden gems all over it.
Oh yeah, it definitely has.
It's got like Simmons. It's got the twins, which I think we could all agree here are underrated. It's got more Ironhide, more. It's got Sideswipe. It's got Soundwave. It's got a lot of new elements that the original movie didn't have. So I am gonna be nice, and I'm gonna put it in A tier. Because usually, on a bad day, I would put it in B tier, but I'm feeling charitable today, so I'm gonna put it in A tier today. What do you think, Theorymus?
Okay, so I agree with the placement. All right, it's definitely the weakest of the three, but I have a soft spot for this movie because this is the movie I have seen the most when I was a kid. Devastator alone was my fixation as a child. Okay, because I love Transformers, and I had a very weird obsession of vacuum cleaners. So my parents had me give me like this toy vacuum cleaner, had like little eyes on it. It was a really cool thing. I think it was like a Fisher Price thing. And so now you put a Transformer and a vacuum and cool ass construction vehicles, I was hooked. And so I would remember with my toys, you have those play tunnels like kids would go through. When I was a kid, I would use the tunnel and pretend it was Devastator, and I would literally throw my stuff through it and it would go off the railing. Some of them broke in the process, but it was just part of the experience. But it's another funny story for me for Revenge of the Fallen. Is Revenge of the Fallen is also pretty crass, and that's mainly because of the writer's strike and Bay writing a lot of parts of the movie and him seeing it. I do think the humor works in some parts and doesn't in others. One scene I know from when I was a kid that was always skipped over, which I never knew why at the time my parents would skip it, was all the stuff that happened to do with Alice and all the college stuff. So I'd always get, hey, why are we skipping over this? And now I know why. I'm an adult. Okay, you're a kid and watching that. It must be crazy when you're in the theater. But
Right.
the movie alone, I think it's flawed, but it's great. I mean, the opening scene, not talking about where we see the Fallen, but in Shanghai where you have Demolisher ripping through the overpass and Optimus, coming. A lot of people complain, oh well, Optimus executed. Bro killed like hundreds of people, and I mean, what are we gonna do with him? You can't put him in jail, and he taunts them at the end that the Fallen's gonna rise again. Okay, he was not gonna reform.
But Optimus can't kill the bad guys.
Oh
He's a
no!
hero.
Yeah, so that was a complaint, which I think is eh. But then I do think bringing B back, the kitchen appliances. That's another great scene. Tickles my brain as a kid. Just random objects, because you're a kid, like you see a car going down the street. It could be a transformer when you were a kid watching. Now you got your freaking kitchen appliances. That was really cool. Let's see what else. The forest battle. Excellent. Okay, that is a masterclass. If you ever actually research how they shot that with IMAX plates and IMAX actually being used for this movie, which is actually funny because I actually had an IMAX cut of '07, which unfortunately we still don't have on disc. But
I'll have to look behind the scenes for that movie. I know I've seen 2000s, but
you gotta watch Revenge of the Fallen, man. It is so good on how they had to do it. And considering what the movie was up against with the writer's strike, its flaws can be understood. I think there's a lot of parts of the movie that were undercooked that could have been explored a lot more, like the lore with the primes or the seekers that we could have seen more of. But I think overall it's a pretty solid film, and what followed up later was freaking excellent.
Yes.
I never knew about this IMAX cut. I'm just now looking it up, and I'm like, "Whoa, this is insane! Cool stuff."
Yeah, Bay said he would never release it, and he's actually stuck true to his word. So Paramount just has it in the vault somewhere.
Wow, terrifying.
Bay, change it, please.
Please change your opinion. Prince, what about you? What are your thoughts on Revenge of the Fallen?
Well, a lot of people like to say that this movie is flawed and it has issues, and I don't know what you're talking about. This is peak fiction yet again. But yes, a lot of my love for this movie is nostalgia and shit because I watched it alongside '07 a lot as a kid. But even then, I still think it's a good movie. I still think it's an excellent movie. It does have its flaws. It does have its errors, especially with the writer's strike. But considering this came out during the writer's strike, I think what they did was still really good. It could have been worse, honestly, and I think they did a really good job, especially since, from what I remember hearing, they did this movie without a script. So I think without a script, it still turned out pretty good.
It wasn't without a script. I think the script wasn't finished yet, if I'm remembering right.
Oh, well,
yeah, that is correct.
One of the two. But still, it did really well. Again, the CGI is still, oh my God, the CGI. That Ironhide transformation, Optimus Prime transformation.
The CGI
Christ.
Really good.
And the forest battle, literally the best fight scene in Transformers history. We will not argue this.
Oh yeah, it is definitely one of the best.
And unlike the certain G1 people, my first time seeing Optimus Prime die was in Revenge of the Fallen. That was my one right there.
Same here.
Same with me.
Snuck by Megatron and just blasted. I recreated that with my toys. It was fun, but yes, like it was amazing. Again, the designs fantastic. Skids and Mudflap, they're not racist. They're funny as hell. I laugh at them every single time. The fight scenes amazing and shit. I really wish I did have that old Devastator toy because I always really wanted to have that Devastator and make him suck up the Transformers as well. Pause. And I tried to do that with Stewie Series Devastator, but his mouth is not big enough. But anyway, um, but yeah, I do think that there should have been some slight changes in the movie. Like when Optimus Prime died, I do think we should have focused a little bit more on the Autobots' perspective on that, and obviously have the Fallen do a lot more in the final battle, and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. But this movie is still peak, and I still love it to this day. And I still love it to this day. The soundtrack, the fighting, that everything is peak, amazing, peak cinema.
All right. What about you, Devin?
Oh no, oh
Okay.
no.
Uh-oh.
Here it comes.
As a kid, I really did like this movie. Like you all did. But it's definitely the weakest one in the original Bayverse trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying hard not to cough, but
It's okay.
hold on one second. Talk real quick. I need a drink of water real quick.
No
All right.
worries. And speaking of the twins, I actually have them back here. These are
Nice.
were the Lawson exclusive versions. So they have like this dirt on them, and you could
Oh,
only
nice.
get this version if you were in Japan because they're Japan exclusives, and you went to the store called Lawson, and then if you ordered the movie, they just threw 2 deluxe figures in for free. I mean, we'll never get that ever again. And I love these
Oh
guys because
my
they have
God.
such fun little transformations.
Beautiful.
I never had a Skids as a toy. So I only got him recently, this mold, because I had a Thunder Mudflap when I was a kid. So he
Oh,
was,
man.
Sorry
to do this to you, Theory Miss, but I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna
Oh?
one up you here.
What are you gonna do?
I got.
Oh,
something.
is that the Human Alliance?
Yeah. This is my Holy Grail. I got him about a year ago.
Oh, he's a
And
great figure.
I'm so thankful I have him. He is so rare now. He is like probably one of the most rarest parts of my entire collection right here. So, yeah, and I have a big collection. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
that's the bigger one.
yeah, continue, Devin.
Okay. As I said, I thought it was a great movie as a kid, but growing older and trying not to view things in the nostalgia way, unlike other people in this podcast. No, I'm kidding. Revenge of the Fallen is the weakest one, is extremely flawed. I noticed this when I was watching the movie again for research purposes. And the movie, for the most part, when it's not the Transformers, it's so slow.
Okay.
Well, you don't like Leo in the realfndeal.com?
No, no.
You don't like Simmons and Leo's whole dynamic where Simmons is like pulling his pants down and Leo's zapping himself in the nuts or whatever.
Okay, that was like the only Leo
That
scene
scene
that
was still
fun.
peak. It was still peak.
It's bad shit insane.
It was hilarious to me as a kid. Yep.
Oh god, how many times you get
It's
tased?
crazy
nuts
how I
to
watched
can't
that.
have kids?
Crazy how I watched that scene and never questioned it.
Yep. I never questioned it either.
Yeah. That the nuts scene for Leo is still like one of the few funny parts with Leo in it.
Oh yeah. You know, Theory Miss, what you need to do is you need to do what Common and Cam did, and you need to start doing out of context videos for your channel. You need to do like Bayformers out of context or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
Oh,
Common and Cam is like anti-Bayformers, so he like never uses those clips, but he always
really,
cartoons.
really.
I don't think
Really?
he's anti-Bayformer.
Maybe he isn't, but I'm being silly. But like,
He's been
like,
really like pro on this Michael Bay rumor.
maybe he is now. But back in the day when he made the out of context videos, like 98% of it was cartoons, and there was like two movie clips, and I just think that'd be cool if somebody did only Vayformers out of
Yeah.
context, or whatever.
That would be cool. Also,
Mhm.
one more thing before we move on to Dark of the Moon. I am with all three of these guys. I like Skids and Mudflap. They are not racist. And this was literally one of my purchases at the last TFCon that I had.
Nice.
You will look at the figure.
He's a fun figure. I got him recently. Never
He's
had
so
that mold
adorable.
before.
This is my
Mm.
first Skids ever.
I know, he's so adorable. You guys talk for a second. I need to let the dogs out before one of them takes a crap on my bed.
Oh, go for it, man.
But
Ooh,
yeah,
let the
the only
dog out. Ooh,
twin I
ooh,
owned
ooh.
at the time was Mudflap, and it was the little Cyberverse figure.
Oh, the Legions class.
Yeah, with this hood being the
The
R.
big. Oh yeah. It's funny.
the
I
hood of
have one.
R. And then hold on. And then the what were they called? They were like the Michael Bay movie, but they were the little guys, but they didn't
Oh,
form. What were those called?
it was the robot. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. It's either the robot replicas or the. You know what? Let me go look it up. Let me go pull up the wiki. I know exactly. I have one in I have like a little house plant. I put some of them in there. So let me see. It's called Transformers. Was it Transformers Authentics? What was it called? Because it could be two. Because it had like those ones that were closer to the CGI model, and then there were those ones that looked kind of like more cartoony. Because you have the robot heroes, which are the cartoony ones, and
yeah,
then
I
there's
think
the
it was
other
the
one.
Black Heroes was that one because it was
Yeah,
definitely cartoony.
The robot heroes are fun. I have
But
a
yeah,
tiny collection.
Mudflap was like the only one I owned. I never owned a Skids, and I never owned the big version of Mudflap.
I'd recommend the big version of Mudflap. He's a fun guy.
I am definitely going to try hunting one down soon.
Now I'm curious for your skids, because I saw there's a lot of ways to do the backpack. Do you fold yours up kind of like this at an angle?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, I do for mine as well.
This thing took forever to figure something out.
I had to look at a 15-year-old YouTube video to figure out how to get it right. And like Mudflap has like a very similar thing because it's weird how his butt flap works. Because like it hangs down by his legs, but you can actually push this thing a lot higher in where it doesn't actually obstruct his articulation as badly.
Right.
There we go. Yeah. I plan to eventually do another retrospective on these guys again, talking about from when they were starting out from concept art, because they were supposed to be like the third twin.
Yeah.
And the third twin is really cool because he was like a tiny little gray smart
did you
car.
video on that already?
I did, but I'm planning to revamp, like, because I had like one talking about the bounty, then one about the third twin, but never really talked about concept art for Skids and Mudflap alone, because there's a lot of old concept art that is really cool to dive into. So I don't know when I'll get around to it.
I'd love to see that.
But yeah, pretty fun little figures. I don't think we'll ever get them in Studio Series though.
All right, boys.
I don't
Talk about
think getting on Studio Series figures either.
Hello, GGJs 6505. Hello, welcome to the stream.
Hello,
Hey, it's been a while since I seen that guy.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. All right, Dark of the Moon time. I am putting it in S tier for a multitude of reasons, and
Deserved.
Deserved.
It needs to be in a tier higher than that.
Deserved.
Yes, it's all the way up here in SSS or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, Theoremist, what do you think of Dark of the Moon?
Oh my god, where do I start? We're gonna be here for hours, but I'll keep it condensed. Dark of the Moon, and people are gonna disagree. I think it's in my personal favorite. I think it's the the best in terms of what you were getting with the Bayverse, in terms of action and story. If we're talking about what was better written, probably 07, because that's your introduction. Your introduction, how you get hooked into these characters, is always going to trump it. But this was supposed to be the original ending. And it's not perfect. I wish they did the original ending where Optimus and Megs teamed up to kill Sentinel like they did in the comics. That would have been awesome. And having the twins being killed by Sentinel, I wish we had. But this movie is incredible. Once again, building upon what came before, because for Bay's standpoint, if you watch the documentary, is, he felt bad about Revenge of the Fallen the way it turned out. And he really wanted to step it up and, apologize to the fans and give them something that they deserved. And so that's how Dark of the Moon came to be. And it really doubles down on what makes this franchise great. With the action, the CGI, I think the CGI in this film is better than anything we ever got. And I think it's the best action movie ever made. Because you had guys actually jumping off the Sears Tower in wingsuits for the wingsuit scenes. That was done real. You have that scene where Hatchet is running down the road, smashing into those cars. Well, Hatchet wasn't real, but they had a blue screen truck painted in blue, crashing to. So the practical effects is just off the chart. Story is great. You take the space race. Because we always had a conspiracy. Did we go to the moon? Did we not? And now we have the Decepticons, assassinating top people and covering up. And why we never, because why did we never go back to the moon since 1972? And this film kind of answers that. So tying it into real world history, I think did a lot better, because Revenge of the Fallen, we're going to Egypt and seeing some pyramids, which is cool, but Space Race just kicks ass. And Sentinel as a kid, killing Ironhide was not fun. Okay, Ironhide was a great character, and seeing him go in the way he did, just falling apart and dying, that affected me. And I think what actually affected me more as a kid, because I remember I was as a kid, really concerned about B potentially getting killed, because I'm like a big Bumblebee fan, like most kids were. But then seeing Q's death traumatized me. He gets shot and his head pops up.
I was sad.
Yeah, it was bad, man. But what's funny with Dark of the Moon is I remember this vividly. I came out of my elementary school at the time. My parents gave me the choice, saying, hey, do you want to go see this in a movie, or we have it on Redbox? This is when Redbox was still a thing. And my dumbass chose to watch it on Redbox at home. So, it was great to see it at home and watch the movie with the fam at home. But I always wanted to see it in a movie. So for my 18th birthday, I actually got a lot of buddies in mine, and I rented out a theater to watch Dark of the Moon as intended. It should be on the screen. And great experience. Awesome. But I'll cut it there, because I'll be talking about this movie for hours.
That's all right. What about you, Prince? What are your thoughts on Dark of the Moon?
Similar to how Theramis said, is literally the best. Hello, Grimlock. Is literally the best transfer. Is literally the best Transformers movie of all time, and best movie of all time as well. But yes, just like Theramis said, this movie literally I'm gonna be glazing a lot of these. This movie, how do I put it into words? It pretty much exceeds your expectations. Because honestly, because again, this movie was dark. Out of the three, it was the darkest one out of the three. So it pretty much shows you this is it again, because this was originally supposed to be the original ending, so they changed it. Yep. But so it was kind of like a world-ending scenario where, okay, now this is the end game. This is our final boss. This is our, final say to the characters and everything. And it was big. Man, when I tell you, because let me tell you, I was watching a lot behind the scenes about Transformers, Marvel, and all them shits. I saw a behind-the-scenes clip of Bumblebee, the Camaro crash into a car, and I thought that was a elite death scene for bees. I was like, oh, does that mean he's gonna die? No. So I was preparing myself. I think I forgot about it a while ago, because I wasn't even prepared for it at the movie. But let me tell you, when I was in that theater, no one prepared me when Sentinel pulled up the strap and blasted my boy Ironhide in the back. When I kid you not, bro, that was the fastest my jaw ever dropped to the ground. That was the fastest, because again, Ironhide is one of my favorite Autobots of all time. Seeing one of your favorite Autobots die on screen traumatized me. If anyone wants to know what my traumatizing moment was, it was that scene. That scene was my traumatizing moment. Men can have feelings too. You feel sad,
you hear that? Bro
like
wants
like it
the
was
Dark of the Moon apology tour.
like I was so scarred. I think my brother even tried covering my eyes a little bit because I was actually like fiddling. I was actually scared. I was like, oh, like I was actually like, oh my god. But of course, when he tried to cover my eyes, I took his hand away because I was like, I still want to watch the movie. But yeah, and then just like he said, Q dying. Oh my god, that was just as sad. And then they tried it with B. They tried it with B, but Bones was like, "Oh nah, who do you think you are? I am." And he just came in and reminded him who he is. But yeah, um, but yes, peak storyline, peak cinema. Sentinel is probably the like Sentinel was a fantastic villain. Honestly, that movie has some of the best designs for the characters. To be honest, for Bumblebee, Ratchet, and all of them. To be honest with you, and yeah, it was just fantastic. It was amazing. Like they did it to the T. And as for the ending, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it would be cool to get the original ending of Prime and Megatron, having a truce. But I'm gonna be honest with you here. Realistically speaking, out of everything Megatron did, I don't blame Prime at all one bit. I don't blame him at all for just taking him off the head. I cannot trust you. You've done too much. But yes. Anyway, peak movie, peak cinema, peak movie. Right.
It's
Peak.
better than sliced bread.
It's better
Indeed.
than Slash Brad. Yep. What about you, Devin?
Dark of the Moon is a phenomenal movie, and originally was the best way to end
Oh yeah. Fine.
the series.
Yeah, it really was.
It just it is a step up from Avenge of the Fallen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It is the second best of the original Bayverse trilogy. The action's really good. The story is better. The characters were pretty good. And Sentinel, looking back now, yeah, he was a good twist villain. But no joke, as a kid, I hated Sentinel Prime. And the funny thing was, so before Dark of the Moon had came out, I got the Leader Class Sentinel Prime toy. I'm like, oh, this looks like a cool character. Seems awesome, thinking he was an Autobot. Then I proceeded to watch Dark of the Moon like weeks later. I'm like, I hate you so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to. Let's take a little detour, boys. Take a little detour from Bayformers for a second. Predacons Rising. Let's see. Let's talk about this little movie for a minute. I like Predacons Rising. It's a good ending to a good show. I don't care what anybody says. I think it's a solid A tier. What do you guys think? What do you think, Darius? Have you seen Prime?
It's funny because I've watched this back a long time ago when I was a
Okay.
kid, so I don't remember too much of it, but I remember it was enjoyable. So I can't really give my best analysis, but for what I remember, I thought it was cool that I think doesn't Bumblebee in this movie he kind of becomes like the de facto leader after Optimus like
Yeah,
loves
pretty much.
yeah, I thought that was cool because I was like a Bumblebee fan and like because I remember watching Transformers Prime when it was still on the hub on the TV, watching him getting gunned down by Megatron. I was in shock, and so seeing him come back and then he's the leader, I thought that was really cool. So I think it was a cool movie for what I remember of it.
All right, that's awesome. What about you, Prince?
Oh yeah. It was also I also agree with Aramis. It was a peak movie. And honestly, like a fantastic send off to the show. Like honestly, a really good ending. Because yeah, from what I remember, it was just really good. I liked how they handled the storylines with the characters. Again, with Bumblebee getting his promotion, I was happy about that. And then and Unicron coming to possess Megatron's dead corpse and coming back. I still want to figure that, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And everyone just doing their last battle before and then Prime sacrificing himself to save Cybertron was a fantastic ending.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't talk about RD 2015. That never happened. But yes, like
I agree.
That means
Don't
he likes another thing.
don't listen to Devin. All right. Speaking of, don't listen to Devin. Devin, what do you think of
Well, I
Predacons
can't
Rising?
say anything, I guess.
All right, then
No.
we'll move on. No.
I think Predacons Rising is a great way to end the franchise. I'm with Mark and Prince. This movie is way overhated. Like, was the finale in Prime cool and epic? Yes. But I think for the most part, this movie wrapped up everything else
Yeah.
in a satisfying conclusion.
Yeah.
We got Autobot Knockout.
Yeah,
we
no, it's fun.
yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, now let's go to. I think this will be the most controversial one.
Oh.
Age of Extinction, because I have so many negative thoughts on this movie, and I have so many positive thoughts on this movie. I I can't even begin to express what I think about Age of Extinction. It's one of those movies where I might just need to make a video review on it one day. Um, a long form Mahler style EFAP movie where it's like 10 hours long.
You should just do
Uh,
that with all the movies at that point.
I should, yeah.
Was that
Hey, look,
parochial?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hmm.
Yes. So I don't really know where to put it. My my instinct is to put it in B, but I know that I'm gonna get eaten alive by all three of you. So I am
Also,
going.
somebody-
I actually kind of agree with that.
Really? Okay.
I
Let's hear.
are.
Hi, Subpar. How you doing, buddy? I know Subpar loves. I love that Subpar appears the second that we get to his favorite movie. It's so fun. Not his
Yes.
favorite movie, but it's
Hello,
up there.
people in the chat. Hello, Grim.
Yes.
I said hello to Grimlock before I did my thing. I don't know if you heard me. Hello, Grimlock, and hello, Subpire.
Subpar, how you doing, man? But yeah, like my instinct says B because I have been mean to this movie, but like before Subpar quits on me, I am thinking about A or S, maybe.
I say S.
Maybe.
This is not an S tier movie.
It's
Fine, A.
not.
I would compromise.
I will put
Don't-
it in A. I will not satisfy for anything lower.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry, Subpar. We'll save the movie. We'll save it.
We'll save it because here's the thing: all four of us, and maybe Subpar can join us as well if he wants to. The four of us do plan on watching each movie together,
Be honest.
and we'll be doing yeah, and we'll be doing the make your ranking be honest. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I'll put it B. But yeah, no. I'm just thinking that once we watch all the movies together, and we do like a review episode for each movie, we might revisit this, and I might put it in S. I might put it in D. Who knows? But right now, all I remember is all the anger I felt walking out of the theater, all the disappointment I felt walking out, and being like,
Hold
"Oh
on.
my god,
I'm
it's so."
sorry to interrupt you, Mark, but I just have to
Yeah.
say thank you, Subpar. Thank you. Finally, more people with common sense. That Romeo and Juliet love scene does not kill a whole movie.
I am not talking about the Romeo and Juliet
I'm not
scene.
saying you are. I'm not saying you are.
I
I
know.
just mean in general.
I wasn't even
Statute
talking about.
675-3.
Oh Jesus, he's got it memorized.
That's how out of pocket it was. How can you forget?
I know. Oh my god, you guys want to know the funniest thing ever? So I was at. Okay, this is. I don't know if Subpar knows this story or not, but I was at a group therapy about 6 months ago. I think Devin knows this story.
Yeah.
I was at group therapy about 6 months ago, and out of nowhere they start talking about the Romeo and Juliet law, and they go deep into it for about 10 minutes. And all around the room, they're like, "What are your thoughts on this law? What are your thoughts on this law?" And then when they got to me, I was like, "I can't take it seriously." And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because the only thing I know about it is it's from a stupid movie scene."
How dare you?
Oh, you
And they're
couldn't
like,
even say the movie. You just said stupid movie. How dare you?
"No, I said stupid movie scene." That's what I said. I didn't call the whole movie stupid, but anyway, I was just like, "There's a movie out there that had a stupid scene that talked about it." But and the whole room was laughing at me, and I was just like, "I'm sorry, I don't know anything about laws like that." Um, anyway, I just thought it was a funny story, but no, I'm not putting this on B because of that scene. No, it's I agree with Subpar actually. It deserves more respect than just it's that one scene. I just feel like it was a letdown after the first three. I felt like it was a major step down. I didn't like that half the cast was killed off and the other half just disappeared. I didn't like that. I don't like in general when there's like a hard reset. I don't like that in any media ever. I just got through watching Total Drama, the first five or so seasons, and it was hard to get used to the new cast in that series too. And then they did another new cast, and then another one, and now I'm just getting used to not caring. Killing Prince.
Fair.
Anyway, but my point is that I don't like it when I have to get used to new characters and just ignore the old characters. Um, and another thing is just the humor is a lot more angry and
Angry.
like maybe angry is the wrong word. But like it just feels like every second someone is making an insult. Like every fucking sentence has to be an insult towards someone or a culture or like a fucking president or whatever. Like there's got to be an insult somewhere in every scene, and it's just over time just got it's just annoyed me as a kid. Um, but hey, like I said, maybe I'll move it to ARS when because this is our tier list subpar. This is not just my tier list. But I am putting it in B because I think it's weaker than Revenge of the Fallen right now. But who knows? Theory Miss, what do you think of Age of Extinction?
Oh boy. Okay. This I think it goes in B. I know a lot of people say it's underrated, which it is. But here's what my problem was. Right? You have the original trilogy. You fall in love with those characters. And now you wake up, half of them are dead, the other half you're never going to hear from again. And then like you were talking about, thrusted into a completely new world. Now, I think what it does excellent is the CIA and the world turning against the bots. Battle Chicago was the 9/11 for, a bigger event than 9/11 in universe for the Transformers. And so naturally, you're going to have people turning against them. Interestingly enough, Dark of the Moon was also going to have this subplot where you see this anti-Autobot propaganda, which you can see in some scenes, but that was never really flushed out. It's like mainly like spray paint the Autobot logo crossed out or like posters of saying enemy, right? And Age of Extinction, I think, takes it. That's what would happen. And Cemetery Win, I think, would be a very natural progression where things start to fall off. And my opinion is now you never hear what happened to Sam. Now, main reason why is because Shia wanted to step away. He didn't really feel like his character could go anywhere. But you can't not really talk about what happened to Sam. So you get like a loose end there, and it comes back in the last night, which we'll get to. And now you're with Mark Wahlberg. And I hate Cade Yeager. I do not like Cade Yeager. I know some people say he's better than Sam. Sam's better than Yeager, my opinion.
Nah.
Yeah. I'm an inventor. He's not.
I used to be one of those people, but then got brought back to the Sam party.
Yeah, you back to the
First
light.
to internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, because you got to deal with that, and you got all the weird shit with like Shane and Tessa that doesn't even need to be in this movie. He could have just made Shane of age and not have this whole weird subplot.
I
I
agree.
thought people hate TJ Miller. I find him actually kind of funny, and the best part is when he got blown up. Yeah, and but Optimus having like the PTSD arc kind of where he's like scared of people. I think that was great. The cab over truck, awesome. But and the whole point of like the humans making their own Transformers is a callback to Revenge of the Fallen when Galloway and the presidential administration, I think it was because Obama made a cameo. The government, American government, wanted to use Transformer technology, and Prime said, "Hell no, that's not going to go nowhere." And Age of the Extinction, ties back to that and how it would be a disaster.
Yeah.
And I think Stanley Tucci in this movie is a treasure, is Joshua Joyce. And
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think really for me, it's just how why I can't give it an A is because it starts out really good connecting to Dark of the Moon and the rest, and it kind of does its own thing. I love Hound. Crosshairs is kind of cool and Drift's all right, but it's just they weren't what we had in the past. I really think we should have had more of the original trilogy characters come
Right.
back. Now you're going to face all your favorite characters are dead, or you can cope and say they're in hiding, but it doesn't really change the difference. But I
Yeah.
think it's all right film. I think the Dinobots. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about that. Dinobots were really cool. They're in the marketing. We only saw them for like 2 minutes, but peak. I remember seeing this in the theater and watching Ratchet die was very hard. But
Man.
I
Yeah.
will stop yapping from there.
Yep. I like this. Who would you be without me? In Age of Extinction, we realized it's alien invaders here illegally. That's who they would be. That's fucking,
That is true.
that's actually really good so far. That's really good. I do want to point out real quick. You said I must have hated G1 season 3. Yes. How did you know? G1 season 3 is terrible. I can't get through it. It's so boring. I just wanted to point that out. But I don't hate it to be frank. I just think it's boring. Um. Anyway, sorry. Prince, what do you have any thoughts on Age of Extinction?
Well, here comes my glazing ass. I, I again, I love this movie just as much as the trilogy. I love it. Like I love it. It's my childhood. I'm sorry. I do acknowledge the flaws, and I choose to ignore them because I straight up love this movie. Now, I before I continue with my thoughts, I have a few funny things to say. His funny stories as well. I remember when we was going to get tickets for the theater. The woman in the I was fuck. We were talking to the woman at the ticket booth, and my parents were talking about like, oh, we've seen all the Transformers movie. He's a huge Transformers fan. Him and me, and and the woman is like, oh, what's your favorite Transformers movie? Now the real answer was Dark of the Moon, but at the time, as my kid, every time I saw a new Transformers movie, I would always say the new Transformers movie was my favorite, nostalgia bias. So I literally, but the funny thing is, I didn't see Age of Extinction yet because we were literally about to see it that day. But my dumbass self still said Age of Extinction, and my dad was like, "You haven't even seen the movie yet." So yeah, but and then seeing Ratchet die in the theater, I literally was like, Ratchet, no! Like I literally screamed in the theater when Ratchet died. I'm not gonna lie, I actually did. But yeah, I love this movie, honestly. Like said, now remove nostalgia bias. Even if I remove nostalgia bias, I still think it's a fantastic movie. I still think it connects pretty well with the trilogy. I think the storyline is really well done and pretty interesting. I think I still love the new characters. Like I love Hound, I love Drift, I love
Hound's a
Crosshair.
national treasure.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he's beautiful. I
I
love him.
still love I love all the designs, bro. Like I know the Night Prime design is very controversial. That's actually my favorite live action Prime design by far. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That design is phenomenal.
Okay.
That's
I
a hot
love
take.
the action, love the Dinobots, love the fights and explosions is everywhere. I love it. Now I will say some flaws. I will agree even as a kid, I hated how most of the characters just disappeared and just died off screen. Cause like it's not just this movie. Cause even with Dark of the Moon, I kind of like this was like the one flaw, like one of the only flaws I had with the live action movies. I hated how some of the characters would just disappear with no explanation. Because even in Dark of the Moon, I was like, "Where's Joel? Where's Skiz and Mudflap?" Like they said no, nowhere to be seen. And same thing in Age of Extinction. Where's Sideswipe? Where's Dino? Where's half the Autobots? Like, granted, yeah, like if you put two and two together, it's probably dead or in hiding. But I don't want to do that. Tell me or show me. Like, but so yeah, I did hate that we didn't get to see their demises and shit. But and and honestly, I'm surprised a lot of y'all didn't like Cade because I absolutely love Cade. I think Cade's a phenomenal new character. Now, do I like Sam more? Yes, I love Sam infamously more. Sam is the best human protagonist for Transformers, but I think Cade is still a good character. Now, the characters I did hate was Tessa and Shane. I could not stand those two. Tessa was just annoying, and Shane was just boring. He didn't need to be in the movie at all. But
Yeah.
um, but yeah,
Hello, MC Mikey. How you doing?
but yes, but overall, I just still think it's a fantastic movie. Oh yeah, another flaw I had with the movie as a kid when watching the trailers and the hype was I was confused as hell when the humans were turning on the Autobots. I was like, wait, why y'all turning on them now? They're the good guys. You worked with them for 3 movies. I mean, of course, like Theremis and some other people said, like now, like realistically speaking, yeah, after the Battle of Chicago, I can kind of see why people would just be done at that point and be like, okay, we just want all of you off our planet. But
I
even
do.
then, but even then, it was like it was just so weird to me. It's like you guys are friends for years and then now want to just betray out of nowhere. It did kind of feel out of left field, but I still think it was still an interesting, good story because they told it pretty well. The jokes were still funny to me. Lockdown was a phenomenal villain. I
Yep.
loved him to death. He was great. And yeah, and the soundtrack was peak as always. All the soundtracks are peak. And yeah, the movie was peak. It was amazing, and I still love it to this day, despite its flaws. Yes, I am done now.
I That's all right. Well, thank you so much, Prince. I do want to backpedal a little bit and discuss lockdown because Subpar brought up a great point. We never mentioned him, but I think the reason why I never mentioned him was because all I was doing was saying what I didn't like about the movie. Uh, a lot of the things that I love about the movie revolve around Lockdown. I love Lockdown as a character. I love his design. I used to hate his design, but I've grown to love it. Um, I love his actor Greg Berger. He's really good at it. Not Greg Berger. Yeah, Greg Berger. And then Mark Ryan. No, that's what it was. But yeah, no, it's sorry, definitely was distracting me.
Sorry.
So
I said you didn't like
I looked at you and I saw Greg Berger for some reason.
what?
I don't know why. You're
What?
distracting me. You're distracting me. I'm sorry. Well, okay. First big mistake of the show. We're off to a great start, boys. Okay, so but yeah, I loved what's that Greg Berger again? I loved Mark Ryan as Lockdown. I loved the character. I really loved Hound. I really loved Crosshairs. I don't like Drifts. I'm sorry. He is kind of annoying to me, but that's just me.
And you will be beat.
I will be beat. Sorry.
Don't worry. I'll deal with it.
That's just my opinion. I'm sorry.
And it's
It's
okay
just
to be wrong.
Mark. It's
It's
okay to be wrong.
Yes,
Exactly.
it is. Anyway, so I will let Devin debunk me, I guess.
All
when we
right.
talk about
About
it.
time.
All right.
Ultimate Defense, Age of Extinction. Let's go.
Yes.
Age of Extinction is a great sequel to Dark of the Moon. It's really good. The state of how everything is set up is perfect. Like, how would you react if giant alien robots killed thousands of people and destroyed hundreds of years of work in one of the biggest cities in America? Yeah, you would be freaking pissed.
Yeah.
And start hunting all their butts down. I really love the concept of the Autobots getting hunted down by humans and the humans trying to figure out what makes them tick. And especially with unlike Mark and Prince, Lockdown was a great addition to helping them hunt down the.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean? Unlike me, I said Lockdown was peak. I agree.
Yeah,
with
like later on. I'm mentioning him right away.
I think I forgot to mention Lockdown.
Nah, I mentioned him in my testimony. Mark forgot. I said
No.
Lockdown was a peak villain.
I will agree with Prince. I like Cade Yeager as well. I think he's a pretty good human. Not as good as Sam, but I think for original character, he's pretty good. New cast, love him. Now, I'm mixed on the new designs for the most part. I kind of agree with the Fire Brothers. They don't look anything like Transformers, and I think the first 3 movies did it well, where you could still tell what they transformed into.
Yep.
Tess and Sean was his name was?
Shane. Yeah.
Shane.
Tessa and Shane.
Who cares about them? They they just existed in the movie.
Well, hold on. Not to interrupt you, but Grimlock did bring up a good point. He said Tessa would have been fine if Shane wasn't in the movie. I agree. If it was just Cade and Tessa, it would have been perfect. As a matter of fact, if it was just Cade, Tessa, and that other guy, it would have been perfect. Because I like the other guy too. He was funny. But
Yeah.
Let me continue.
TJ Miller.
Yeah. Now, I get all 3 of your guys' complaints about all the most of the Autobot cast from Dark of the Moon not returning. I get that. But keep in mind, guys, that wasn't even Bay's fault. Many of the people who gave him the vehicles didn't want to cooperate with Bay after Dark of the Moon.
Oh,
Why?
for real?
I don't know. That's why characters like Dino, Sideswipe.
Dino.
Yeah.
Dino didn't show up because he was actually supposed to show up again, but his voice actor perished, so they replaced
Yeah, his voice
him.
actor died shortly after.
Yeah,
Dark Moon.
that also did play a factor,
Yeah.
but it was mostly because the vehicle companies didn't want to work with Bay.
Wait, so even with Sideswipe in them, they didn't want
Oh no, GM would Sideswipe's a GM, so he wouldn't be involved in that. If you're talking about maybe for Mercedes, but they come back. I don't know much about the vehicle licensing, but anything for GM should have been fine.
Because I'm surprised they didn't want to work with Bay again. I mean, granted, your cars are getting blown up, but still, it's good market placement.
I think it's a great sequel. Now, I will slightly go with Mark a little bit here. It kind of messed with the Bay lore a little bit.
Yeah, tad.
Kind of.
I mean, every movie kind of does that. Anyway,
Like with the seed and the creators, it kind of messes with it, and adding in the nights, like
I hated the night.
whatever.
Oh, we'll get
But
there.
But for what it is, it was a pretty good follow-up, and I will defend it for the rest of eternity.
Yeah,
That movie said it came out. I remember watching it with my little cousin when it came out, and both me and him were sad when Ratchet died.
of course.
You know, it's funny because you could treat Ratchet's death as the end of the original trilogy and then the start of what came after.
You could, yeah.
And me and DB would defend it, and I love how you put on the sunglasses. I'm like a 2000s reviewer for the movie.
Cringy ass
Got the
sunglasses.
nostalgia critic in here.
Yeah,
and also,
right.
I
DB,
might need to do that more. That's funny.
Yeah.
give me that lockdown figure. I'm gonna need it from you.
And then also give me it simultaneously. Buy me a second one, yes.
How
Will
much
you use it
would
for your
pay-
series?
Maybe. Maybe I just want it on my collection, man. Come on.
No, I deserve it more.
Yeah, I deserve it more.
We need a new tier for what's coming next. Below
We do. But to be
That-
fair,
Subpar not to interrupt, but Subpar just made a really good point. Yeah, Optimus's characterization in this movie is pretty good. And also, I will defend Prime's actions. Thank you, Subpar, for
I will as well.
yeah, Prime was justified.
Before we go,
he wants to, he's killing the humans. It's everything he stands against.
before we go to the last night, I have one more thing to add.
Hunted down his friends and killed them.
Yeah, I have one more thing to add before we go to the last night. Just like DB said, Prime's actions are justified. They always were and always will be. The humans literally hunted down his comrades and killed them, can continuously hunt them down.
Mm-hmm.
And like I even remember as a kid, I remember seeing a few people actually being mad at Prime for killing the human. Like saying like, "Oh, Prime's not supposed to kill humans." And
he would have killed Cade.
And even me as a kid had common sense. I'm just like, he's a bad guy. He was about to kill Cade. Like I was like, why are you mad at him for this? Like, it was a dumb thing. So yes, Prime's actions are justified. He's always been justified.
All right, I swear. I'm done.
I'm done now.
It's all right. I really would love to keep going and talk about Optimus Prime because, like, I do wanna. I think we should do
future debate.
Future debates because, like, one thing that I did do is I did make a tier list for every movie's characters, and that includes main humans. So like at some point when we will rewatch the movies together, we could absolutely go through those and talk about the characters more in depth. But yeah, I agree. He is justified. Subpar says I have one argument against Colin's comments against Faye's version of Prime. Essentially, I think he can't divorce his brother from his character. So whenever Optimus has to do something harsher, Peter can only see Larry, and Larry wouldn't talk like that in his mind. I completely agree with you. That is actually 100% fair.
Yes.
I think that's very fair. I think that Peter does attach his brother to Optimus a bit more literally than he should. And of course, at the end of the day, it's his rendition of the character. He could do whatever the fuck he wants, right? But like at the same time, I do agree. I wish that he could look past whether or not it's something his brother would say, and think, does this make sense to the story of my character? Because yeah, I think it does. I think it does make a lot of sense for Age of Extinction Optimus to be a freaking psychopath. I think it makes sense. I don't think I even call him a psychopath, but yeah. But yeah. All right. Speaking of psychopaths, yeah, no question.
No.
That is going F tier.
And it's going in an F tier. That is
no. Mark needs to make 2 new tiers and make the most bottom one super F tier. That's how bad.
Yeah.
That's not.
This movie ruined my childhood.
This movie ruined my childhood, man. It was
like
ruined his childhood.
I'll be fair. I originally liked it because of Bayverse nostalgia, but then when I rewatched it again, I'm like, no, this movie's absolutely garbage.
I thought it was garbage from the start. I fucking despise this piece of shit.
Lucky.
Are you drinking on a stream?
Yes, I am. Honestly, you must hydrate.
Have more water.
You all should be drinking. It's water, by the way. You fucking degenerate. Anyway, so you should all be hydrating for a stream.
Hey, I got my
I should have grabbed more water, but it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. So, but yeah, Theoremus, quick thoughts about TLK.
I hate this fucking movie. Where do I start?
Yeah.
Good God. Okay, so this movie is part of the reason why I started my channel, because people are wondering what the fuck happened to continuity. And that's a question I still ask myself. But when I saw this in the theater, unfortunately, this is the movie I remember the most in the theater. And I went there multiple times with my dad. And I saw it because we were doing like the road to TF5 for the Raging Nation. We were all hyped and everything, right?
Yeah.
And, seeing all that. And I see the movie. And I'm like, no, it can't be that bad. I was hoping to myself it wasn't that bad. And then I saw that video that the Rage Nation made after, and then he was like disappointed. And then I started to sink, and I watched it like 2 or 3 more times in the theater. And I'm like, I can't defend this no more. This is bad. And the main thing, look, the main thing I can't stand this fucking movie is the order of the Witwickens in the history of Transformers. Bumblebee in World War II technically works because we never saw him land. Technically, I like the prequel comics better and how they described his origin. But technically, you could say in the Bayverse he was killing Nazis, which I think was awesome. Problem was then you see on this wall these pictures of Transformers. There's one painting where Ironhide in his GMC truck parts is pulling a fucking ship, or you have Optimus in one of those wars just shittily photoshopped in, and all these other characters. And it's like they didn't give a shit about continuity because you can't explain that away. There is no in-universe explanation outside of Sir Edmund Burden making all this stuff up, which is my headcanon that this movie was just a dream. And the whole point that you have Nemesis Prime, right? Lamest thing ever. That's what it was marketed. It was hyped because we want the hype on that Suicide Squad thing. And my boy, I was so hyped for Onslaught, man. I don't know why. And the way they just killed the crew off, I can never forgive them. Nitro Zeus was great, though. He was a national treasure. Great thing this movie did. Nothing bad to say about him. But the rest of the crew just gets killed. Or you get Nemesis Prime fight, which is like 2 minutes, and then Bumblebee speaks again. Doesn't make any fucking sense. He can't speak. Okay? We've established that through previous movies. Technically, at the end of 07, yeah, he got it, because we never know if they were going to get a sequel, and it was a nice callback. And it wasn't even, because when Mark Ryan did the voice, he was just doing like scratch track. He didn't even know it was going to be used for B. And he would have done something much younger, which we saw in a deleted scene of Revenge of the Fallen, which I wish they kept that voice. But then the writer's like, no, we got to use him doing the radio thing, which I thought that's fine for the character. Him talking makes no sense. And most of this movie is just a freaking fever dream. And I wish it was not canon, which I don't think most people consider it canon. It's horrific, but I'll leave it there.
Oh yeah, man. This movie, I swear, that one scene with all the pictures with Sir Edmund Burton, that all he had to do was stab Bumblebee in the throat. Yeah, that's all he had to do.
Voice is back.
Voice is back. Yep. But yeah, like that one scene. That's when I started to break. But what really made me broke was the watch that killed Hitler.
Oh, come on. The watch that killed Hitler. Don't screw with it. That's the best character in the movie.
I could not stop laughing. I walked out of the theater still laughing from it. It was so bad. Like, the watch that killed Are you kidding me? I was so insulted by it. But yeah, anyway, what about you, Prince? What do you think about the movie?
Okay, as much as I would love to glaze it because it's Transformers related, this is where my glaze has to cease, or at least pause, take a back seat at the bus stop. Because I will admit, when I first saw this movie, again, I loved it. It was Transformers related. I basically loved everything Transformers related, so I still loved it.
So you were like me.
Yeah, I still thought it was great. However, this movie has something different than the others. With the other Babers movies, I rewatched them, and every time I rewatch them, I feel that same magic as I did back as I used to watch them for the first time, and I get reminded why I love them so much. Every time I rewatch The Last Night, I would see more flaws, more issues, and unlike those movies, I would just feel more and more like this movie is actually kind of bad. Like, it was the first Transformers movie that I actively was like, yeah, this is actually not good. Because even when I first liked it, I still had flaws. Now, of course, we can all agree the designs in the movie are still peak. I love the designs. Megatron design, again, best live action Megatron design, me personally. Bumblebee's is still great. I love Hot Rod design. I think Hot Rod looks better than the G1 incarnation. I love his Lamborghini stuff. And everyone looks good drifting them. Onslaught is a badass. Nitro Zeus, Barricade especially. Oh, I was ecstatic to see Barricade back, because Barricade's my favorite Decepticon.
Man.
So seeing Barricade's my favorite Decepticon. So seeing him in the cast, I was hyped for that. But and just like Grimlock said in the comments, this movie had some good ideas, but it had too much going on. So let me begin with some of the positives. I do like the World War II scene with Bumblebee and Hot Rod. I do like that. I do like some of the fight scenes that go on in the movie. I do think the final battle is still acceptable. Um, and I do like Ebbs being not Ebbs. Fuck, what was his name again? I forgot.
Lennox.
Yeah, Lennox. Lennox coming back in here, it was really good because I was keeping up with the behind the scenes on it a lot. I knew he was coming back, but it was nice to see him again. And yeah, it had good things, but again, it was just too much going on. Like that one scene where they're talking about the Transformers like always being here. That is the scene where it's like, okay, what are we doing? Because not only was it poorly photoshopped, but it's like in universe, it literally doesn't make sense. They showed
Yeah.
up in '07, and that's pretty much where the continuity kind of flopped. And honestly, like with everyone complaining about, oh, there's too much humans, this is the only movie in the Bayverse movies where I'm like, okay, that too much human complaint is kind of justified here. Because
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, like Hound, Drift, and Crosshairs were sidelined to hell. They were barely in the
It's
film.
true, they were.
And the only Autobots we had on the screen was Bumblebee, Hot Rod, and Cogman, literally, like, and everyone else was just saved like the final battle, and then the humans were just there. So that's like the only, because with all the other Bayverse movies, I was like the humans were needed. The humans had a good amount of screen time with the Autobots. The Last Night's the only movie where I'm like, okay, yeah, that complaint is kind of justified because literally half the characters were barely there. I will never forgive them for disrespecting the Decepticon, bro. That, as badass as those designs were, as those characters, like Onslaught looked so tough. Nitro Zeus was like as tough as those designs were, I will never forgive them. Like even when I liked the movie, I was so upset and disappointed that they died so quick. I was like, you mean to tell me a big Decepticon like Onslaught is gonna be taken out like a two-piece combo at Popeyes like that for free? Impossible. And best believe when I saw the concept art that he was gonna be throwing trains at Drift,
Exactly.
I was
Yeah.
so frustrated. I was like, so we couldn't get this, but we got all the extra shit that we didn't need. And then Dreadbot got eaten by Grimlock. I didn't really care for Mohawk anyway. I knew Mohawk was gonna die immediately, so his death didn't really matter to
He
me.
technically is like one of the only ones who survived because his head was like moving.
Well, yeah, kinda. Oh, and I was so pissed that Bumblebee and Barricade didn't have their rematch. Oh my god, I was heated. I was so excited for Bumblebee and Barricade to have their rematch, just for the rematch to be Bumblebee just shooting him and him just tumbling over. I was like, bro, where is my rematch? I need it. How does a commercial have a good
I was
rematch
about to
with the
say,
movie?
Prince, don't worry, you have the Sonic
Once
commercial.
I once I saw the Suicide Squad introductions of the cons, they were gonna die. I knew they were gonna die. And see, and that's the thing. That scene is one of the only good scenes in the Last Night. But even that scene pisses me off. Because thinking about it logically, Megatron, why are you negotiating? If you don't go up in there and just blow shit up and get who you need, like
Should have been
it,
a prison break.
yeah, like a prison break. And of course the humans just give it to him, and then later they're like, okay, now we need to track him and kill him again. What? Like, and then Nemesis Prime. Nemesis. See, I was really excited for Nemesis Prime, especially after getting off the high of TFP, because TFP Nemesis Prime is my favorite Nemesis Prime personally.
Same.
I love how they utilized them in Transformers Prime.
Yeah.
And honestly, like after that high, I was like, oh, we're gonna get Nemesis Prime back, and the B Prime is gonna be literally was barely in the movie. Barely in the movie, and then when he was in the movie, they were just playing around in water. The fight was cool of what we seen, I'll give you that, but
Man,
it should have been longer. It should have been more tense. Honestly, he should have just been going around the whole movie, just hunting down the Autobots the whole time. And then again, it should have been a longer fight with him and B. Um, of course, B getting his voice back doesn't make sense in the moment because where does that come from? It just happens randomly. And then, I mean, the final battle was still cool. I will still give it that. I still like the final battle. That line where Prime was like, "I am. Did you forget who I am?" That line is tough. That line is still tough to this day. I again like, and I guess like the Autobots jumping Megatron was also cool. I wish it was lasted longer. I wish it lasted longer a little bit. And I wish they explained again another flaw. I hate how they didn't explain how Megatron got back to how he was because Galvatron was like, "We'll meet again when I'm reborn." How did you get reborn to Megatron, bitch? Tell
I
me.
know. The
But
fact that they were hunting down and killing the Autobots and keeping the cons as prisoners is questionable as fuck.
and
I
an,
agree. Yeah.
and another flaw that all that well two of these forgot to mention. Those kids were literally a waste of space. Like, why
Yeah.
were they in the
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah, for the
Literally,
Nickelodeon's Kids Choice Awards. I think that's the only reason why.
for
Yeah.
real, because I remember as a kid myself, I was excited. I was like, oh, yay, kids are going to be a part of a Transformers movie. Barely were in the movie. Like, Isabelle Merced, I love her as an actress. She's a fantastic actress. And they wasted her. How do you waste her in a Transformers movie? How do you do that? You can't do that to me. And then, oh, and obviously, and not only that, in lore, well, I would say I was also having an issue of them being in hiding again because at the end of Age of Extinction I thought everything was resolved, but then last night they were in hiding again. I'm like, what? How? But I guess maybe if you want to tweak it up a bit, maybe in that one specific area in Age of Extinction kind of knows that they're still safe, but then the rest of the world think they're in their danger. I don't know. I'm trying to help this movie, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a mess. Like as much as I would, like, because again, I love Transformers. It's my favorite franchise of all time. As much as I would love to love the Last Night, it's so hard for me to because every time I rewatch, it, I get a migraine. I have to pause it and just take a break. So
Yep. Same
yeah,
here.
but the designs are still badass, and it has some decent moments. It has some good moments in there. So yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Devin? What do you
Oh,
think of the okay?
Oh, wait, before he goes, I just want to say, just like Grimlaw's comment, I agree. How do you kill all the Autobots yet you keep the Decepticons as prisoners? How is that a smart move? Like they're
Yeah.
dumbasses. All right, now you can go, DB.
Movie's a train wreck. I personally like Nitro Zeus and Mohawk. I think they're like the only two memorable of the Decepticons.
Yeah, it's Nitro Zeus's peak.
Um, yeah, there's not really a lot to say about The Last Night. It's just a giant train wreck of a movie. It tried shoving way too much in because, as many of us know, it was supposed to be a cinematic universe, and a lot of
Yep.
those ideas ended up being shoehorned into the movie at last second, and that definitely hurt this movie a lot. And all the projects except for one got canceled. We
Two.
were robbed. When I want my Operation Skyfire, we were
Yep.
Yes.
just change the ending with Megatron. That would be the only thing I would change, just to keep in with Bay continuity. But I need my Operation Skyfire.
Operation Skyfire, Transformers 6. I was excited and then they canceled it. I was so depressed.
Yep.
Took it away. It'd been actually really cool. Like like on God.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one that might be a bit controversial. Um, Bumblebee. So I used to actually love this movie. Um,
Oh
and
God, he put the glasses back on.
Devin's ready to shit talk this
My
movie. He's ready
God.
to do it. He's he's not even faking it. Okay. So
I don't know.
mhm. No, you can do it if you want. But like I would put it in a B tier because it's not a bad movie. It's actually really sweet and returned to form. But holy crap, if I hear one more reviewer mention the fucking first 5 minutes.
Cybertron scene.
I know, the Cybertron scene,
Cybertron
the
scene
Cybertron
saved the
scene.
entire franchise.
It's so great, guys. The Cybertron scene so great. How's my Common Cam impression? Anyway,
Oh God.
sorry. But love you, Common. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, it was just besides those 5 minutes, it's not anything grand. It's just Iron Giant and
It's what
Herbie.
Subpar is saying right here. It's
Yep.
fusion of Herbie and Iron Giant.
Yeah. Yep. Literally. Yeah. That's what I was reading off. Yeah. Cause like yeah, and even as a young adult when I was watching this, I was thinking that, but back in the day I was more lenient. But in the past few like years, I've been kind of slowly getting a bit of a chip on my shoulder from this movie. Um, Mainly because of all the horrendously annoying fan base comments about how it saved the franchise because Bayformers was really bad on Hereditary, and it's just oh my
The
god,
Beavers destroyed my childhood.
I know, and then also Bumblebee kind of started the trend. Bumblebee, as well as the Combiner Wars trilogy, really started the trend where now everything is G1 in Transformers. Everything is G1 aesthetic. All the toys are G1ish, except for Studio Series. But even then, G1 took over Studio Series.
Yeah.
And then just everything's G1. Cyberverse came out. All the designs were G1. Freaking what's it called? Earthspark came out. Most of the designs were G1. Cyberworld's out. Most of them are G1. It's just oh my gosh, come up with your own designs.
Freshen up the franchise again.
Yeah, I miss the Unicron trilogy. I miss animated. I miss Prime. I miss the movies. Not just because I grew up with them, but because they all had like designs and that were new and different. But
Yes.
Bumblebee movie just felt like it was just a bunch of G minors getting their way. Hey Eric, how you doing, man?
Hey, Eric.
Um.
Hi, guys.
Okay, Theremis, what do you think about Bumblebee?
I think it's kind of interesting on this one because I remember watching that teaser trailer and they put Bernie Max, the driver don't pick the car picked the driver. Like, oh my god, this is going to be great, right? I really like that. And then he wasn't, of course he wasn't going to be in the movie, but I think it was more marketing than anything. But with this one, it's kind of interesting, I stand by the fact that somebody made this comment, it's not mine, where they say it's like a horse girl movie. I can't unsee it after they say it.
God.
I can't unsee it either. Yeah.
And
that's
it's like
literally in my brain now. No.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. But I really like this one. I like, because we had triple changers before. People always think the Drift and Age of Extinction, but it was the first one live action was a Mix Master of his little turret mode. I think Dropkick and Shatter are phenomenal villains. There's a really cool deleted scene where they're like scanning different weapons and like dicking around at Sector 7. I wish we got that. So I love Shatter and Dropkick. I think the movie as a whole, it's fun. I enjoyed it. It's funny because if I would ever rewatch these movies, right, I would definitely rewatch the original trilogy, no problem at all. I don't think I would actually put this one as a movie I would seek out to rewatch, unless I was like rewatching for someone who would want to who's doing it for the first time and they want to see their reaction. But I think it's a really fun movie. I wish we still got that G1 Megatron in the Sector 7 base. I would have killed to see that because it would have been so cool because at the time, we didn't know what it was going to be because this was originally, as you guys know, the opening was going to be different. It wasn't originally going to be on Cybertron. We would have seen Bumblebee throughout history running from the humans, kind of tying to what we saw in The Last Night. And I actually think it was better for them to distance that because I know the Cybertron scene everyone loves. I do think it's overrated, but I think it's better than if we had Bumblebee in the concept art running through freaking Vietnam. It's just right. Objectively. So, but I think it's a great movie overall. I just wish, we kind of got more of what Bumblebee had, what would come later, because it had a lot of Bayverse ties, like the old Camaro, which was great to see again because I freaking love that design. And seeing Prime and G1, that was pretty cool. Of course, I mean it's not my favorite design, but seeing that on screen was neat. And I think, for older fans, because what's interesting for me, like a lot of older fans grew up with, their version of Transformers, which was the cartoon. That's how the characters looked for them. And that's an homage for them to see finally on live action. They didn't get people of us, right, we were never really had attachment to that version. We saw it kind of, for a lot of us, this was our version. So it's also weird for me seeing those G1 designs. Like, oh, it's from the cartoon, but it doesn't really match what we got before. So it's an interesting mismatch depending on what era of the franchise you came in. But I think as a movie, I think it's solid and fun. And the Blitzwing Bumblebee fight is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I do think it's very interesting talking about the designs because um I was actually talking about this with a friend the other day, but um we we as the four of us, we grew up with Transformers in the 2000s and 2010s, mostly, and around that time, Transformers had rebooted itself at least two or three times by then. So we already had a bunch of different Optimus Primes with very different styles and a bunch of different Megatrons and Bumblebees in very different styles and Starscreams and yada yada yada. So we were already used to the characters changing and evolving and having all these different um, designs. But like I said before, the fact that we are now regressing back to only 80s,
Yeah, we're going in reverse.
it's it's just, yeah, and I feel like this movie and Combiner Wars kind of started it all, but that's just me. Um, what about you, Prince?
All right, back to glazing. Now,
I'll
I
try to
again,
put these glasses back away from.
I love this movie a lot. I really do. Now, obviously, the Babers movies are way better. Obviously, but
Yeah.
I do think this is still a really good film as its own. And yes, it's good even without the Cybertron scene YouTubers. Um, but one thing I like about this movie is that it is a change of pace. I love the explosion, blockbuster explosion cinematic with Transformers. I love that. Don't get me wrong. But I do like how in this movie, like when they're rebooting this series, they're kind of rebooting it to start off small and then get bigger later. And I like how we start off with like Bumblebee's journey with this. The Cybertron scene was peak. We can all know that. I still like the designs, even though they are just G1 in live action. But I think since they're in live action, there's a little bit different in there that keeps it live action esque. But yeah, like but the as we go on in the movies, I love the fight between Bumblebee and Blitzwing. That is peak. I love Shatter and Dropkick were excellent villains in the movie, like just straight up menaces. I love how each fight scene was with them. Like the Bumblebee versus Dropkick scene was immaculate. That was just a fun. It was just a treat to watch. Charlie was no Carly was a Charlie.
You
She
got it
was a
right the
good
first time.
she was a good human protagonist as well. Obviously, Sam and Kate are better, but she was pretty good for the most part. I will admit, rewatching the movie, I will admit, like at first I was okay with it, but now rewatching it, I'm like, I'm not. I don't hate it. No, I mean, I don't hate the idea of Bumblebee like being a bit softer or kinder, like for most of the film. But rewatching it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't really like how they did the whole memory loss thing, and just made him act like that for most of the movie. I kind of wish he still like had his warrior tendencies so he wouldn't drop kick and shatter like first, run up on him, he could at least try to fight back. And thinking about it more and more is like he's a warrior. He's not like he can be a friend, yes, but he's still a warrior. So, and I'm not saying like, oh, the whole thing was bad. Like, no, I still like that. I still like the wholesome moments with him. I still like how he trashed that girl's car. I still like all the fun scenes. But I do wish that they didn't do the memory loss thing, but overall, I still think it was really good. Barricade should have been in this movie. I know he was
Yep.
supposed to be, and they cut him out. I am mad about that. Stop cutting my boy out. But
Reboot or not, he should have been in here.
yeah, connected the Babers or not, he needs to be in here, and
Like
they should have kept
even
that.
there are even G1 fans who like Barricade.
And
Yeah.
they and again, fantastic movie, a good homage to him to go back to Camaro because the Camaro is his signature vehicle now. It's no longer the Volkswagen. He's a Camaro now. But and I do wish they
Which
kept
he
that mega.
would.
I do wish they kept that Megatron post credit scene because let's be real. even if it wasn't going to be connected to Bayverse, let's be real. You can just do that scene and just tell a completely different story. It doesn't have to be just
Exactly.
Bayverse
Yeah.
all over again.
You could do your own spin with it, especially since the plan was to have it look more like G1 anyway.
Yeah. So
So far,
overall, I think Bumblebee is a good movie. Again, the Bayverse movies are still better, but I think Bumblebee is still a pretty solid movie for what it's trying to be. Okay, now we can go to DBs.
All right.
real quick, Subpar says, don't forget, Travis Knight made Peter copy John Bailey's impression for him from the
Oh,
80s.
yeah, that's true. He
I
did.
remember that.
And that was terrible.
How could you do that?
I don't know, man. It feels like it was kind of tongue in cheek, almost like, oh yeah, we're just gonna do that in case we can't afford Peter or whatever. Like it just felt, I don't know.
It felt disrespectful.
Yeah, disrespectful. Yeah.
Yeah, because Peter, I remember he had like a little. There's like a YouTube clip, I think, of him at a TF con talking about the whole thing.
Yeah, I flipped too.
Yep. All right, Devin.
All right. I'll keep my rant a tad bit short, but I'm gonna say it. The Bumblebee movie is overrated, guys. Let's be honest here. Like, is it better than The Last Night? Yes, it is. But like, that's extremely easy to accomplish. Like, it has this solid start with Cybertron. I mean, cool scene. Probably aged like expired milk, to be honest. The swing fight was pretty cool, and then the movie just completely falls off after that with the stupid amnesia plot. And the problem is, it's most of the movie with this amnesia thing, and that's not how amnesia works. You don't turn into a scared puppy dog. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But Shatter and Dropkick were besides the Cybertron scenes, were definitely the redeeming parts, the good redeeming parts of this movie. Best villains in a Transformers movie ever, I would say. Maybe besides.
Hold on. No. We're not gonna ignore 07 Megatron. We're not gonna ignore Techno Prime. We are not gonna ignore Lockdown. Don't do that, baby.
Okay, thank you for correcting me, Prince. But yeah, I think it's overrated. I remember people hyping it up, and I saw it, and I just felt so disappointed. Like, I was told this was good, and it wasn't really that good. I feel like I was ripped off.
All right, so go ahead.
No, seriously, that's it.
All right.
I could do that like hours. You don't want that.
It's all right. Okay. Rise of the Beasts. This is going to go in C for two reasons. First reason, I don't like the movie very much. Second reason, I want one movie in each slot at least. So.
Oh my gosh.
Shut up. Anyway, my OCD can't take it. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, in all honesty, I don't want it in the same tier as Bumblebee and Matrix Station because I enjoy both those movies way more than Rise of the Beasts. And yet I do agree with Theory Miss that TLK should be a couple of
down there,
a couple more below because it's way worse than Rise of the Beast. But anyway, I don't hate Rise of the Beast, but I just don't like it. I don't jive with it. It's just not my cup of tea. And that's that. What do you think, Theory Miss?
Oh boy. Okay, I actually am pretty mixed on this. Because for context, what a lot of people forget is we had to wait 6 years after Bumblebee to get this movie.
5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay, 6 years. And I was really hyped for this for a lot of reasons. Because another Transformers movie had a giant break. and it's like this is going to be it. We see the hype. It's more character focused, and you in the trailers you see a lot more footage of the character. So it's like, okay, that's pretty neat because in the Bay Forms movies, there's a lot of people complain with too much human screen time, but a lot of that is technical and budget because for ILM to make it look real, it's time and
It's
money.
what it is.
Exactly. And if you want to look right, and what Bay would prefer to being perfectionist, he wanted, to maximize what you can. That's where I do agree with a comment I was just on the screen. This movie is definitely middle of the road. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And it should have been a real sequel to Bumblebee. The problem was they wanted to do Bumblebee 2, an Optimus Prime solo movie, and like a Beast Wars spinoff. What happened the last time we threw three scripts together? We got The Last Night. And now they did it again. But some saving graces is Mirage. Pete Davidson's Mirage. I know a lot of people are on the fence. Phenomenal. Best part of the movie. I have the little 3-0, not 3-0. It's the model kit one. I forgot the
Loki.
Yes.
I have that one too.
Yeah. It's a great figure. He sits up here somewhere, and I really liked.
I think I have it here as well.
Yeah, get it on screen. It's a phenomenal figure, and the whole thing that killed the movie for Mimo was G.I. Joe. That it's like it should have been Sector 7, which it was supposed to be Sector 7 because it was said by Anthony Ramos
That's
when they kept on doing. Oh yeah, here's the one I got here. It's the.
Oh, you got a bigger one.
Yeah, that's the YOLO park.
the YOLO park.
Oh,
I need that one.
This is great. This one is so much fun to put together.
Oh, yeah.
But as I was saying, the G.I. Joe part was just stupid because I was sitting in this movie with a buddy of mine. We were hyped up, and we knew it was like going to be Sector 7, right? Because I was in the Bumblebee movie. And flips the card G.I. Joe. Oh my god, it was terrible. So I didn't like that part because they kept on trying to shoehorn it in. But overall, it could have been a lot better. It was great to see more robot screen time, but I would have much rather had less robot screen time because based on the fact that they looked shittier in terms of CGI, which was a choice. The real reason they didn't have ILM is actually because they actually went to ILM at first, but Scott Favreau, who's one of the guys who did all the films, they didn't have enough time that they would have needed for the release date to actually get their polish. So ILM basically rejected because they didn't have enough time to do the movie, which was in that recent Transformers documentary. I forgot what it's called that came out. That's narrated by the guy who plays Glenn Morshower in Revenge of the Fallen in the original trilogy. So it's also a lot because the film was also done during COVID and the budget ballooned, so it faced a lot of problems, which is why I can't be too hard on it. But it should have just been a hell of a lot better and should have just been a straight sequel to Bumblebee with the bots building the base. That's just me.
Yeah. What about you, Prince?
Yes, this movie. See, I have a love-hate relationship with this movie. This is definitely the most middest one in the franchise. We can all agree that. Now, despite its flaws, I don't hate this movie. I still do like it. And part of the reason why I like it is because it's still Transformers related. But I still do like part of it. I do think there are still some good parts. I still do think the designs are really fantastic and there are some good parts. You know how I feel about Rise of Beasts? Yes, I know, bro. Yeah, this movie, bro, me, Grimlock knows, me and him and some other people we know, we shit talk this movie a lot because realistically, it's true. Again, I don't hate this movie, but I do have a love-hate relationship with it because it's bro, because again, when I first saw it, loved it, recently bought it, but after I sat down, thought about it, I'm like, hold on. Again, this movie has flaws, because first of all, this should have been a Bumblebee movie sequel. Literally should have been. I don't know why it was. I don't know why you make the same mistake you made when you would think after you almost killed the franchise, you would stop making that same mistake, Paramount.
I know.
But literally, oh my god, the pacing is way off, bro. I don't care what anyone says. I love how long the Transformer movies are. I love how they're long.
Oh yeah, I do.
Transformer films. So for this one to be short, it actually hurts the film.
It flies by so fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I will admit the beginning part is great. I don't really have much issues with the beginning part. The beginning part most of the time is great, mostly. But then once we meet the Maximals and we go to Peru and stuff, it just starts going by way too fast. And then we get to the final battle, Ramley. I'm like, what? We're already at the final battle. We haven't even lasted here yet. And then
Uh,
yes, and before I continue, I gotta say the whole thing about Bumblebee's screen time and them killing him off her had most of the movie to give it to Mirage. Honestly, you killing off Bumblebee to give other characters more screen time is like one of the dumbest things you could do. Like, okay, you want to give other characters more screen time? Cool, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to kill off a character to give other characters screen time. Because if you do that, why don't you do that to other characters in other medias? Why don't you do that to Batman if you want to give other DC superheroes more screen time or whatever or other shit? And it's even dumber when you bring him back. He already died in his own movie and came back,
Yes,
and
he
then you do
did.
the same shit here. And then but we can all agree Peace and Mirage is great and all, some of the characters are great, but and the Terracons, bro, look, the Terracons are so tough, like their designs are fire, and they wasted them. How do you grab minions made by the devil of Transformers himself and they're somehow weaker than Decepticons in the last movie? Like, bro, bro, I was pissed. I was like, oh my god, it's deja vu. It's the last night all over again. Ain't no way Battletrap just died that quick. Ain't no way Nightbird just got exploded. Oh my god. And then and then Scourge was the only one somewhat holding his own, but even then he was acting sorry that whole final battle. What is happening? And then bro, some minions of Unicron, like, and then I'm not gonna lie, this movie has the weakest human characters for sure. I do like
yeah.
Noah. I do like Noah. However, his story is not as interesting as Sam, Kate, and Carly's. I'm not gonna lie. It's not that interesting really. It's not bad, but it's not as easy to get into with the others. And I don't like the girl. I'm sorry. I don't like the girl. She was
Yeah.
Oh,
unneeded.
what was her
She
name
was
again?
Elena.
Elena?
Like
Elena.
she was only there to help with like the finding it in Peru. And
She was there.
I'm not gonna lie, part of the reason why I hate her is because she was singing while she's trying to hide. I'm like, why are you making your presence known, woman? Like,
All right.
and then
Wait, what's that
and,
noise? A human.
and then like
Color.
and some of the fight scenes were rushed, and the whole movie was just rushed. And then again, seeing the concept art and some of the original plans, I'm like, so we could have had some peak movie. And then after I saw Bone Movie 2 concept art, I was like, oh my god, bro! Like we
Yeah.
could have had all the. And then again, they could have had all these motherfuckers back, bro. And again, they cut my boy Barricade out. Why are you trying to cut him out all the time? What? The barricade disrespect needs to cease. It's been happening ever since the last night happened. And I'm like, y'all come out the Bone movie and this movie.
I
Oh,
I would
and
say more
and
so
then the
with Age of Extinction, even though I I like Age of Extinction, but it's
and
where it
and
started.
then the max moves were cool, but again, wasted. Rhinox didn't say a damn word. And then
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was disappointing.
oh, and on the topic of Prime, oh my god, this version of Prime was a hoe. Because
Ah,
no, the fandom, the I need to have a talk with every Rise of the Beast Glazer on this platform. Because how do y'all diss and disrespect Baber's Prime every single second? Yet Rise of the Beast does the same shit, and you let that slide.
Because it's G1.
You
Yeah,
yeah.
let
you
that shit
won.
slide after you been bitching about it for 5 fucking movies.
It
Oh
looks
my,
like my childhood.
like, bro, that had me so heat. Look. I'm not even mad at Prime being vengeful at Scourge for real. I think it's justified still, just like the other movies. I am mad, however, that he wanted to just let Earth die. That I'm mad about. Cause I'm just like, again, like y'all talk about some like okay, at least like y'all talk about some Baby's Prime so vengeful, he's so psychopathic. At least he cared about Earth. Like Rise of the Beast Prime was about to let Earth die after one movie. How do you go from protect this planet to I don't give a damn about it. Like how? Like Baver's Prime actually showed you the progression and the story as to why he got to that point. Rise B Prime just did it just because. Like, and again, that story. I'm not saying that storyline couldn't have worked. It could have worked. It really could have. But the way they did it, they didn't do it in a really good way. They just did it and just they more so just told you rather than show it. And I wish they would just showed it because, like, honestly, again, I don't even hate the idea of this. I don't even hate the idea of Prime being like that. I like the idea. I just think the execution wasn't the best in this film, and not, and not like, oh my god, I'm running out of breath. Like it wasn't the best in this film. They kind of just shoehorned it in because honestly, and like, because again, a scrap scene that should have been in the movie, the transit scene.
That was been the best part.
That would have been the best part indeed.
Transit.
If you would have kept that scene in, not only would it help Prime's progression and this film, but it would have also helped connect it to Bumblebee movie. But no, we can't have nice things anymore, apparently. But for real though, like I think Prime being a psychopathic in this movie is justified, but at the same time, it's like again, you kind of stole Primal's kill. Primal had more of a reason to be frustrated at Scourge than you did, because all he really
He should have
did,
killed Scourge.
Yeah.
because all Scourge did to Prime was kind of kill B, and even then B came back. So honestly, you should just either let Primal take the kill, or you should have, or both you and Primal double team Scourge, and you both take the kill for Scourge. But again,
The plating was so
every
stupid.
every Glazer and
It
again
was
Scourge.
mine.
And Scourge was a wasted film. He could have been Scourge could have been a fantastic villain, but he was wasted. They made him weak. And again, I will repeat myself. Every Rise of Beast Glazer is gonna have to see me, because you are not gonna bitch and complain about something for 5 fucking years, and then it happens again in Rise of Beast, and all of a sudden now you're okay with it. Absolutely not. Keep that same goddamn energy you had years ago. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me wrap this up so DB can get his point. Overall, the movie is okay. It is okay. I can still rewatch it every now and then, but it still pisses me off as well. Again, DB, you can go.
Yeah.
I'll be short on this one. So I'm with these guys. I'm with Prince of sorts. I think the movie's all right. Now, I do have a hot take with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it a tad bit more than Bumblebee. But it is still extremely flawed. And one of the issues I definitely had with this movie was it did not want to kill any of the Autobots off.
That too. That is another issue I have with it as well.
Yeah, that kind of started with The Last Night, unless you want to really count Canopy.
Kind of, but even the Bowie movie killed off somebody though.
Oh, that's right. They killed off Cliffjumper. I forgot.
That's true.
Like-
Cliffjumper shit.
Like, even though Rise of the Beast is flawed, it's a guilty pleasure for me. I feel like Rise of the Beast, except for the subject of killing off characters, I think it did something better than Bumblebee. I mean, before he died, he wasn't treated like an absolute buffoon.
That is true. I do like how they handled him in this movie.
Yeah. All right, boys. How are we going to rank TF1? I personally think it goes in A tier. I think it's a pretty decent movie. It is. I am starting to agree with Devin that it is a little overhyped.
Wow, thanks for throwing me on the bus.
but it's also movie. I still enjoy it. I mean, I watch every now and then. I get in the recommended a video of like the final battle or something, or like final battle with the touch or whatever, and I just put it on in the background or something. And I don't know. I really love this movie, but it's not perfect, of course. But yeah, what do you think, Darius? Did you see this movie?
Yeah, I did actually. I only have ever seen it once, and I thought it was fun for what it was. I'm more of like a live action guy, so those appeal more to me.
That's fine.
But I thought for what it was pretty fun. I know people did not like the designs, and I'm one of them because I was hoping when we were hearing about this, it was going to be more like In Line with Fall or War for Cybertron designs. But I
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
worked for what it was, and I thought the voice cast was great. So I think it was pretty fun.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of B's in the comments. Yeah, it's like between
Oh
the A and B
dear.
for me. I don't know. Ask me tomorrow. I might have a different answer.
See,
It's one of
the
those in
only
between
I
movies.
would agree to put it in A, but I like Age of Extinction more, so that's my only
Yeah.
flaw.
I
In
mean,
that
if
case,
if
put it
everyone here
in
thinks
an
it should
S.
go in
In that
B,
case.
if
You
everything,
can leave it in A, but I recommend putting Age of Extinction in A as well to make it more
I'm
cohesive.
not doing that.
You
Hey,
bastard.
put it in an S. Age of Extinction's a way better movie, and it isn't overhyped
Uh,
to oblivion.
hmm. What do you think, Theory Miss? How do we?
I feel like based on the consensus, B's kind of where everyone's thinking.
All right.
All right.
Well, like I was saying earlier, this isn't just my
Fine.
tier list. This is all of ours combined.
I,
So
I've done my own. That's fine.
yeah. All right, Prince. What are your thoughts on the movie?
All right. Again, glazing time. I love this movie. It is fantastic. I am more inclined to the aligned continuity origin story to the Transformers. So this storyline is not this origin is not bad, but it's also kind of like it's kind of weird to get used to. But it's still a pretty interesting movie. Again, like I think it's still really fantastic on how they handled it. The storyline was really good. Honestly, I know people say it's generic, but even then, a generic storyline can still be a good storyline. I liked how they handled the progression of Orion and D16 with their storylines and B. I like how they handled B in here as well. B was funny. I don't like how they handled Aaliyah though. Aaliyah was a bitch. Um, but
True leader.
but yeah, this movie, like just like Grimlock said in the comments, the trailers did not do this justice. Because unlike most Transformers fans, I was still hyped for it, even though the first trailer was kind of iffy. But I was still hyped for it. And then when I saw the movie, I was like, bro, we need to get a new marketing team. I don't know why they keep making these. I don't know why recently the marketing for Transformers has been down the drain. Like,
The
but
Rise of the Beast and TF1 trailer people, they all need to be fired immediately.
Yeah.
yes, because this
Replace
movie is
somebody else.
phenomenal. Everyone who has seen this movie can tell you this movie is phenomenal and it deserved to succeed. I was hurt.
Yeah.
I was hurt to see that it barely cracked 200. I was like, oh my god, that hurts my soul.
Yeah.
This movie was amazing from what we got. The action, the sound choreography, the designs are decent. Some of them are good, some of them are mid, some of them are eh.
Yeah.
It's whatever. But again, the fight sequences were also just as good. Like that Prime taking down all of Decepticons at once was phenomenal. And
Yeah.
just overall, just it was a really great movie. I like how they handled Sentinel and everything. And yes, like and the T-Cog thing was honestly pretty interesting. Again, like when I first heard about it, I was definitely hesitant. I was like, wait, what? Why? Like, but seeing it in the movie, this is definitely one of those cases where you hear it and it sounds weird, but actually seeing it progress in the movie is like, okay, that's actually pretty good and interesting. And I do like how they handled the movie. It was fantastic, and I got me hyped in the theater. I screamed when I screamed like when I kid you not, when Megatron screamed, I am when Megatron screamed, I am Megatron. I screamed that in the theater. And when Optimus said, and I am Optimus, I literally screamed with him. I was like Optimus Prime in the theater. I screamed in this damn theater, and it's okay because there was barely anyone in there. I was sad, but yeah, but still, I screamed in there. And I was hyped. So yeah, this movie was fantastic. It was amazing. I do love it, and yes, peak movie. I think it should have stayed in A, but I guess B is fine. Okay,
It's
now
all right.
DB's turn.
I'll keep this one short too. Extremely hot take. I also think this movie is extremely overrated. Now, I will give TF1 this. It is the best modern Transformers movie that we've gotten. It's the best one. It surpasses both Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast at the same time.
Yeah.
TF1 actually did something that I didn't like about Bumblebee. It actually had a pretty decent story.
Generic, yes, but it was decent.
It's an improvement.
Yeah.
Now,
Uh,
I don't think it's like the next coming of Jesus Christ, like a lot of people do. And I there's a lot of issues when it comes to this movie, but I'm not gonna go into depth with it. Sentinel, yeah, I liked Sentinel in the movie. He was like one of the best.
Sentinel was so good, dude. He was so
Peak.
fun.
Yeah, he
So
was
peak.
good. But TF1 has a decent story. I liked some elements over others. This movie, everything all right, Mark?
I heard a fart.
That wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Okay. Anyway, it was just a really loud fart sound, and it just distracted me. I'm sorry. Anyway,
But
The fuck? What is wrong with you?
not me, man. I'm not the one that farted. I'm not gonna fart and then make a face and blame it on my host.
I'm also with Prince. Screw Alita.
Yeah, screw
Yeah.
it.
Now, the funny thing was, Mark told me that there was a scene that I might have not liked. And that would have been the only thing bad with her. As soon as I started watching the movie, I'm like, no, I don't like this character at all. I think she's trash.
Her design is good though. Her design is peak.
Oh, yeah, her design is great.
Designs are great in that movie.
But
Yeah.
her characterization is just awful. It lines up with how they've been treating the character lately. You know. And yeah, that's as far as I'm gonna go.
All right.
Decent movie. I just think it did some damage in some aspects.
Well, in that case, I think we are done with this tier list. Boys, we've been going for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Way
The length of
longer.
a TF film.
I think it's a
Hell
good
yeah.
first stream.
I think so too. I think
Is
this
this
has
your
been really
longest
fun.
one, Mark?
What?
Is this your longest podcast?
Yeah, probably. It's probably my longest one of them anyway. But hey, this has been really fun, guys. I've been having a lot of fun. So, thank you all so much for watching. We will be live again probably in the coming weeks. I don't know when. We will schedule something, and I'll put it in the schedule, and then we'll have each of my hosts announce it in their YouTube posts or whatever.
But yeah,
Shut up.
thank you for having me on once again, Mark. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, no
It was
problem, man.
a pleasure to
All three
talk
of
to
you.
you,
Thank you for coming.
Theoremus.
Pleasure,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Prince, nothing new. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
How dare you? Yeah. All right.
But have a good day, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a good
Yes.
night.
Make sure to like the stream or else I'll eat you.
Eat you.
Bye.